back to the show. So glad you've stopped by and happy to have you meet an incredible woman today, Kathi Burns. In fact, she is so interesting. Let me just tell you a little bit about her, shall we? And from living out of a duffel bag, can you imagine, became a licensed boat captain to running a thriving organizing and image consulting business. Kathi Burns knows what it takes to simplify, streamline, and succeed without the overwhelm. She founded Organized and Energized and helps smart, creative people and entrepreneurs break free from chaos, decision fatigue, and disorganization. Welcome, Kathi.
Hi, Jill. It's good to see you. And thanks everyone for tuning into the show.
Well, I'm interested. Of course, we talk about going from, a duffel bag to a boat. I'm sure, well, you had a little more space, right? And of course, it's really helped you to become who you are. I know that you're board certified and a professional organizer and stylist. Tell me what that means. What does that really mean?
That's a very good question. So basically, I help women entrepreneurs specifically go from overwhelmed, stressed out, and disorganized to having systems running in the background of their business so they can actually do what they started their business for. Oftentimes we start this business with these, we have our gifts we're going to give to the world. But then we get stuck in the muck of our stuff and we're like, drowning in our inbox, or our calendar is a mess, or we're just kind of a mess in general. And we lose our mojo. We lose our whole reason why we started our business because we're just stuck. So I basically help entrepreneurs create systems beneath them to support them so that they can thrive and so they can really give their talents to the world without being in overwhelm and distressed and all that good stuff. And regarding Stylist, it makes sense to me because however you look will be how you present yourself to the world. So it goes part and parcel with me organizing. And style, it's the external environment of my clients that I'm really concerned about. Right. So
Yeah, and you probably should. Yeah. I mean, I think you pointed to a really important thing these days, which is there's so much going on, right? And I think people need to streamline and get focused on what matters most, right? Would you say that?
absolutely. And we go off on, I have ADD and I'm a reformed squirrel chaser. We go off, right? We're jumping to this branch and this branch and that branch. And then we forget what we were even doing to begin with. This is what's happening because of the World Wide Web and everything's, instant chat. And oh my gosh, it goes on, right? So how do we keep it all? How do we keep in line, in alignment with ourselves and our intentions and our focus so that we can actually make money doing what we love to do?
Absolutely. And I think that's really the main point. So I know you've worked with entrepreneurs with productivity and follow-up process. Why have you chosen that?
Because what I found is that the money's in the lead, and oftentimes I find that people don't even really have a proper database, let alone a customer relationship manager or some type of funnel, or they lose, they go to a networking event, they get all these cards, and then they drop the ball. And they might have promised somebody something, they look like a schmuck. And most importantly, someone could have said, hey, I'm going to introduce you to my friend because he's exactly what you need. And then you forget who it was and what they wanted and all that. And then you don't make money. And the most important thing to me is, a lot of my clients don't sleep well at night. They beat themselves up. They feel like they're not efficient. They don't know why they aren't making the money they need to make. And they're stressed out basically. And I have so many that can't sleep. You wouldn't believe it, Jill. It's like, let's get some
Oh,
sleep.
yeah, right. That's probably a good first thing to have, right? It's good.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah. Don't
that's
spend
true.
don't spend all night looking at the ceiling making checklists, right? Of things that you forgot to do or that you don't want to forget to do.
Well, what would you tell somebody who's having trouble sleeping? When should they make those checklists?
uh well, every day, every night when they finish, and especially at the beginning of each week, so things don't fall through the cracks, and they know that they're on top of things. That's the most
Yeah,
important thing why people don't sleep. They feel like they're missing something very important, and so they're stressed out trying to remember what it is or who it was or what was I supposed to do.
right. Listen, in today's world, there is so much going on. Tracking is important, and keeping things efficient, which I know you're so good at. So I know you have wonderful online training programs, and can you maybe just tell us a little bit about that specifically?
Well, I have one simple system to organize your business. That's my big aha fun thing that I'm doing right now, creating, is showing people how they can use one system to simplify their business. And it's not a paid system. So I have that. I also have, I have several books. So my first book, How to Master Your Muck, I did a course around that called the Home Office Organization course. And that talks a lot about what do you need to do to set yourself up as a proper business, as a small business. And then I have another course, Home Organizing Made Simple, because what I find is that majority of us have home offices, and when you organize one space, the other space can fall to crap, so to speak, or you organize one in the other space, so everything's interrelated. So I also have another course about how to organize your home properly so that you can actually get stuff done and not be, whatever. So we all just get too stressed and too distressed by too many things to do and not enough time to do it typically.
So much. Oh, so much. You're speaking our language, I'm sure, to many of our viewers because, let's face it. I mean, if you look around most people's offices, it may be a little bit of wildness, let's call it.
Yeah.
And just keeping up with everything. I mean, I know I have somebody who comes in here 4 to 5 hours a week, and she organizes, meaning puts things away and files things, but I'm still looking over at that desk going, wow, there's still a lot, really. It's just because it's flow, right? Keeping the flow going. And as much as I'm a little bit on top of it, how do we? So I'm going to ask you, how do we keep the flow going?
Well, typically the piles of stuff are things that are in action.
Mhm.
And we at a certain age we all have paper. I mean, the below 30s, they don't have the paper. They never really had that too much, or below 25. But us of a certain age, we have paper. We still like paper. We still like to write and stuff. So I have what is called an action system, and it's for your papers that are in action right now. And I
Mm.
divide them from a time management perspective. I divide them into categories of like with like task. In other words,
Mm.
bills to pay, calls to make, projects, quick tasks, upcoming events. And it's all divided linearly by type of task that it is. And then that way you can, from time management, you just boom, you pay all your bills, boom, you make all your calls, boom, you do your little quick task. So, every time that you switch from task to task, you lose about 17 minutes. So if you
Wow.
can try to stay linear and do one type of thing at a time, you're going to save time and you're going to get more done. So I use what's called the action system to keep your papers rotating in and out, and then most importantly, out, in and through, and most importantly, out of your life. So
Wow.
one of my designations is I'm a paper traffic specialist because I want papers to get gone. That's another one of my courses that I have, get it gone formula, how to get those papers out of your life.
I love this. Oh my God. Can I stick you in my pocket and take you everywhere?
Certainly. I'll microsize.
That's right. And if I can't quite do that, and I'm sure many of us can't quite put you in our pocket, but I do know that you've created a wonderful way for us to stay in touch with you, and for something that will definitely be a major advantage for all of us. Would you please tell us about it?
Absolutely. It's called the Ultimate Productivity Checklist. Now, here's the thing. I know that you're not going to do all these, but what I did was I did 6 to 8 of my favorite productivity hacks. And I say, download this checklist, try one. If you're really brave, try two, implement them for a month and see what happens. You're going to get more done. So I've given you my favorites, the all stars, right, of what I do to be productive, and you choose one or two and implement them, whatever, really resonate with you. Because some you might be doing, some you probably never even thought of, some you're like, I could do that. That's what I'd like you to do, is download the checklist and implement one or two of these things, and your productivity will soar if you do implement.
I love that. Well, thank you for that. And listen, I'm going to download it and I can't wait to implement it. Just saying.
I
Well,
love it.
thank you, Kathy. You are a wonderful guest, and I know I've learned some things, and I know that our viewers have learned some things, and I challenge all of you to do at least one of those pieces from her productivity checklist. Get it now and stay in touch. Thank you so much, Kathy, for being here.
Thanks, Jill. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And to all of you out there, thank you so much for stopping by. And I so much look forward to seeing you next time. Hey, go check out jilllublin.com and we will see you soon. Bye bye, everyone.